Hello, good evening to all of you. I hope you all are able to hear me properly. So I can see six attendees: Vineet, Dipali, Girish, Nikhil, Ravi Chandra, Sheikh. Uh, are you guys able to hear me? Any one of you can type in a chat box or in the Q&A box and then. All right, perfect. Right, so we'll start in a minute. May I know why we are starting late? What was the schedule time? Was it 5 o'clock, I guess? I think the faculty member who was supposed to turn up at 5 o'clock, there was some issue or there was some internet issue at his end, because of which probably this could not start on the scheduled time. That's the reason why he's starting it now. So I'll start with a brief introduction of mine, then I'll take you through some half an hour, 45 minutes long presentation on the financial modeling course. Uh, my name is Sashi Bhushan. Uh, Education wise, I have done my BTech in mechanical engineering from IIT Delhi, and then I went to Ahmedabad for my MBA. So I passed out from Ahmedabad way back in 2005, and after that I worked into multiple companies, especially in the field of corporate finance, fundraising, IPOs, mergers and acquisition. And now I'm running a startup along with a couple of my friends. So I also happen to be one of the faculty members, especially for financial modeling course. And my association with EduPristine is as old as EduPristine itself. So I think I would have now been associated with EduPristine for some 12 years, and probably that's the number of years this company had been in existence as well. So I will be taking you through this small presentation, wherein the primary objective will be to make sure that you guys understand, at least from this session, what all things we are going to cover in this course, what all things will not be covered. It's also important for you to know what exactly is getting covered here and what exactly is not getting covered here, because financial modeling as a course itself is very, very vast. It's very difficult that in a limited number of sessions, I will be, or as a matter of fact, anyone, any institute, any corporation will be able to cover almost every topic which is coming under the umbrella of financial modeling. So at the end of this session, you should be very clear in your mind what is going to be the coverage in this course, what are the topics which are not going to cover, whether you are going to get any benefit out of it or not, given the current stage, current scenario you would be in, given the current state of career you would be in. You should be very clear at the end of this presentation whether this course is going to be meaningful for you or not. So please feel free to ask the question in the middle of the presentation as well. You are free to type in the chat box or in the Q&A window. You can also raise your hand. I will give you an opportunity to speak. So once you raise your hand and if you want to speak up, I'll give you an opportunity. We can talk, or you can keep the questions towards the end. Either ways, I mean, but my suggestion will be that you keep typing the question in the chat box as and when it arises in your mind, because if you wait till the end, probably the context might be lost. So feel free to ask all your question. Make sure that at the end of this presentation, every doubt, every confusion, or anything that's going on in your mind has come to rest, so that it's a clear. I mean, you want to go ahead, you don't want to go ahead. So I'll now start with this presentation. So EduPristine offers this course, financial modeling, in collaboration with BSc Institute. So At the end of the course, there's a certificate that is issued jointly by EduPristine along with BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange. Now, financial modeling per se is a skill set. This course is a skill based course. It's not a course that prepares you towards a well established examination like CFA, FRM, or an IIT examination. The objective of this course is not to take you from here and make you ready for a particular exam or make you ready for a particular entrance test where you just go solve a couple of questions and then crack it. It's a skill based course. This course intends to add to your existing skill set. It intends to sharpen your existing skill set, convert it into a transform your existing skill set into a new level, which you can then use to throughout your life to come across such kind of job profile. So knowingly, unknowingly in our life, we are making a financial model almost every day. When we decide to buy a particular phone or a particular laptop, somewhere in your mind, a small model box, somewhere in your mind, you take a decision on the basis of the benefit that you are going to get out of the smartphone versus the cost that you are paying today. So it's a model. Your mind quickly works out what benefit I'm going to get from this particular item that I'm purchasing against what cost. So what is a financial model? A financial model eventually is some kind of tool which feeds upon certain set of assumptions, certain set of inputs to give you certain set of outputs. Now, what exactly the model does, the model comes up with an interplay of all the inputs. So you know that these are certain sets of input or these are the only information that are available with me. I have to process it somewhere so that I end up getting the output that I'm looking for. The objective of the financial model is to forecast, to project. One way to figure out what you are looking for in a financial model is to forecast today what is likely to happen in future. So if I'm going to do this transaction today, and if I look at the outcome of this transaction over a period of 10 years, there are only two ways you can figure that out. One is that you survive those 10 years and figure out how or what the outcome of your actions have been in the subsequent 10 years, or you try to forecast that sitting today on the basis of certain information that is known to you today. The financial model does exactly the same task. It tries to foresee, it tries to forecast, it tries to paint a picture today of something likely to happen in future. So in this course, we are trying to obtain that skill set through which we are trying to barge into future. We are trying to figure out how my company is going to look like 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. If this is the business plan, if this is the money that I'm going to put today, 5 years down the line, what all I can do using this money. If I have to gain my market share over a period of 5 years, what are the baby steps that I have to take every year? I'm just trying to see today what I'm going to do 5 years in future. Financial modeling gives you that ability. Now, whether that turns out to be exactly true, whether your future rolls out exactly the way your Excel model is saying is a different thing. Your efficiency of modeling, your validity of the model, the time itself will test, time itself will tell. But at least sitting today, you know how the story or how the drama is going to unfold. Financial modeling tries to inculcate that skill set inside you. It does not prepare you for any particular exam or any particular entrance test. It's a skill set. If acquired, it's going to remain with you all throughout your life. And there are multiple job profiles, there are multiple roles in your own life which will require financial modeling on a day-to-day basis. So as we move ahead, I will tell you what are different kind of roles, what are different kind of profiles where such course is going to help you out. But this is what we are going to do. Now, how are we going to learn that skill set? We are going to learn that skill set through a combination of two things. One, some understanding of finance. And second, a tool to execute that, which is your Microsoft Excel. We are necessarily or we are intentionally choosing a platform which is Microsoft Excel because we don't want to do it into a platform which may or may not be available in some other form. Microsoft suite of products is something which is available with almost every form. Whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are going to work in a startup, whether you are working for a big multinational company, it's very likely that each of these companies will be using all the products of Microsoft. If I train you, if we teach you to work on a particular tool or a particular software, there is no guarantee that every other firm in the world will be using that tool or platform. Hence, we don't want your skill set to be restricted by lack of a particular software or a particular tool at some other place. That's the reason why we are delivering this entire financial modeling course on a well-known platform, which is Microsoft Excel. So you need a little bit of Excel and you need a little bit of finance eventually to pull through this course. So that gives you automatically an information about the eligibility. In order to be eligible to attend this course, as long as you are a graduate, as long as you have little understanding of Excel, right? You have good communication skills. That's all is required to enter into the course, right? That's good enough for you to enter into the course. It doesn't require you to be a financial whiz kid. It doesn't require you to be a financial expert or an industry expert or a sectoral expert, because these are the tools and techniques. So independent of sector, independent of industry, independent of company you are working with. So if you have some understanding about the financial statements, and if you have little bit knowledge about Microsoft Excel, at least how to open a file, if you have done some basic interaction with Excel, you are good to start the course. The course will then take you through from your level to tell you more about Excel, to tell you more about finance. And then your learning has to increase exponentially as you are there in the course. Since the course is also supported by a placement program, and eventually you will end up getting placed only if you are good at your communication and soft skills. So if you already have some good communication and soft skills, that's going to add to your entire thing. So eligibility wise, there is nothing much required. A graduation degree, ability to speak well, ability to comprehend well, and then some understanding or some basic knowledge of Excel. That's all. That's all is required to be moving into this course. There are multiple careers in our life that directly derives its linkage from this course. If you're looking for any career with any of the investment banks, especially in the field of capital markets, where you will be raising funds through IPOs, where you will be raising fund through FPOs, where you will be raising funds through private equity players or debt, or you are trying to, or you are looking forward to working in the field of mergers and acquisition, or you are trying to advise clients on transactions. That's the core field. That's the very basic job profile that derives its basis from financial modeling. So any career in the field of investment banking, be it with the capital markets, be it with the mergers and acquisition team, be it with the private equity syndication, is a direct linkage to this course. Keeping aside investment banking, also there are many other roles, there are many other profiles where financial modeling is required on a day-to-day basis. If you end up, or if you intend to work into the corporate strategy and corporate planning team of any of the conglomerate, right, your primary objective will be to make sure where the company is today and what it wants to achieve over a period of 5 years. So the journey from here over the next 5 years is something that needs to be rolled out on a plain piece of paper. The journey or the storyline from today till next 5 years is going to be very clear on a piece of paper. That will require tremendous skill set of financial modeling. You are trying to figure out what all will be your funding requirement, what all company needs to do, what cash flows are coming in, what cash flows are going out. What should I do to this so that I'm prepared to fight the competition 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line? If I do this, how will it look like? If I don't take this decision, how will financials look like? So corporate strategy, corporate planning department will require your skill set. If you intend to work into the corporate finance department of any of the conglomerate or any of the company, then making a business plan, making a strategic plan, figuring out what is the funding requirement of the company, setting out the stories to lenders, investors, managing relationship with the lenders, investors. All these things will be a part and parcel of your job. You won't be able to do this unless you have the entire picture of the company, unless you have the entire model depicting the performance of the company over a period of time. Financial modeling is going to help you a lot, especially in the field of equity fundraising and debt fundraising, because somebody has to believe in your story. So will you post it over some platform like YouTube, this particular presentation or this particular recording? You were talking about this presentation or this recording? If you're talking about posting this presentation or recording over YouTube and all, then the answer is no. Right. So if you are going to work in the corporate finance department, then also this is something which is required. Apart from that, if you ever end up into a profile like executive assistant to CEO, executive assistant to COO, executive assistant to CFO, you will be the one who will be looking at all the papers, all the investment proposals, all the capital budgeting proposals before it goes to CEO, CO, or CFO. Your knowledge in financial modeling is going to help you out there as well. If you're trying to take up a role in the equity research, where you are trying to write a recommendation whether you should be buying, holding, or selling a particular stock, you need to make a model almost on a daily basis. Financial modeling is going to help you out in that career as well. Apart from that, if you're trying to work or if you're trying to get any career in the field of funding, private equity funds, or any of the boutique funds, this is a skill set that is required, because any investment decision will be primarily done on the basis of making some projections. So in a private equity, if you're sitting on the buy side, most of the time you may not be making a model, but you'll be studying the model prepared by someone else. Now you won't be able to dissect the model, you won't be able to study someone else's model unless you yourself know how to make a model. If you are into the costing department, where you are just trying to figure out what should be the cost of a new product, what should be the cost of launching a new product into a new geography, what should be the price at which the product should be launched, then your primary objective is to pull together all the cost at one place, then add your margin, and then figure out what should be the price. Or it can be the other way around, that if this is the total cost or total investment that I'm going to do, at what price I'm going to sell the product over a period of time so that I end up making this kind of return. It's again a financial modeling exercise. Sitting today, you are trying to figure out what will happen 5 years down the line so that I am going to make such kind of return. You are trying to figure that out sitting today. You are trying to barge into future today. Again, a financial modeling rules. So if you are into the project business development, if you are into the bidding department, where you are going to bid for a new project, where you are going to bid for a new tender, where you are going to bid for a new project, eventually you are going to make a model today to figure out whether bidding for this project is NPV positive or not, whether the returns offered by this project is going to be attractive enough or not. So what you are essentially doing is you are making a model for NPV. You are making a model for calculating the IRR of the project. So these are the work profiles where you will continuously be required to work, derive your or feed upon your understanding of financial modeling and put it into a practice on a daily basis. So investment banking, corporate finance, corporate strategy, bidding, business development, costing, equity research, private equity, transaction advisory, due diligence. These are all work profile which require or which will test you on your ability to make a financial model on a daily basis. So this is the kind of profile that will come handy if you are equipped with this kind of skill set. Or if you are equipped with this kind of skill set, these are the profiles which will automatically open up for you so that you can take up some job, take up some career over there. Now let's get a little bit more granular. What happens in this course? This course is a 14 session course. Each session comprises of 5 hours. So we are dedicating 70 hours towards this course. If you enroll for this course, you will be sitting through 14 sessions, each lasting for 5 hours. So you are getting trained for 70 hours. Across 14 sessions, we are going to cut across multiple topics of Excel and finance. So I am now going to tell you session wise what we do so that you are very, very clear what your gain from this course is going to be. So in the first day, we generally trying to bring all the participants at par as far as Excel is concerned. So some of you might be quite good. Some of you might be very, very well with Excel. You might have worked a lot with Excel. Some of you might have an average exposure to Excel. Some of you might not have worked in Excel at all. So the first day we are trying to make sure that as far as Excel is concerned, as far as some basic functions are concerned, all of us are at the same platform, so that from tomorrow or from the next session onward, an instructor doesn't have to spend much time trying to cover up your lack of knowledge towards Excel so that he can now focus on more important things in the subsequent session. So first session is basic Excel tips, where we are trying to give you exposure to all the Excel functions like index, match, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, pivot table, right? Some of the text function like left, right. So sum if, count if. So these are the functions which we are going to use in the subsequent session as well. So we don't want any of you to get stuck in a subsequent session. So in the first session, we give you an exposure to all the basic Excel functions that we are going to use over next 5 or 6 sessions. After that, we start with the financial modeling. So in module 1, the first exposure to the financial modeling will be a financial model that leads to the valuation of the company. So we will be spending 4 sessions. So actually it should be day 2, 3, 4, and 5, where we'll be building a financial model that leads to the valuation of the company. So it's again based on a real life example. The case has been abridged so that it can be pushed into the classroom. Otherwise, it's again based on a real life case. You will see that a company is preparing itself for a private equity infusion. So there is a private equity player who's trying to put funds into the company. But prior to that, he's doing all kind of due diligence. He's asking all kind of questions. And then collectively, the company as well as the investor is trying to make a projection for next 5 years, on the basis of which they can arrive or conclude a particular valuation of the company. So in the next 4 sessions, we'll be making a financial model that leads to the valuation of the company. As far as valuation is concerned, we'll be looking at the valuation of the company using 3-4 methods. One is discounted cash flow method. The another one is a relative valuation method. In relative valuation, we'll be looking at trading multiples, transaction multiples. So the first model, which will be spent over 4 years, that will give you exposure towards a financial model that eventually leads to the valuation of the company. The practical example of this is all the funding that happens into the companies. They happen on a financial model that leads to the valuation of the company. All the equity research reports, which eventually lead you or give you a recommendation whether you want to buy, hold, or sell a particular stock, they eventually end up deriving the intrinsic value of the company. They compare it with the market and say that actually this stock should be trading at a far lower price, but it's currently trading at a higher price, so sell this. Or actually this stock has more potential than the price at which it's trading currently, so it's undervalued, you should actually be buying it. So all those recommendations are eventually based on a financial model that leads to the valuation of the company. After that, we will move towards a financial model for the project finance. So a financial model for project finance will basically give you an example or give you a in-depth understanding of how a project is financed. So here we'll be looking at one toll project, again a real life example. So a company is trying to bid for a toll project, right? So the toll project is like any other national highway project where you are going to make a toll bridge. It's very similar to the Bandra-Worli sea link that you have seen. So the company is undertaking the project on a BOOT basis. So you are building, owning it for a particular number of years. Then after that, you eventually end up transferring it to the government. A project finance model is typically different from a normal model, primarily because the project finance will have more than 1 year of construction. So how do you treat the project in the construction period? What if there is a delay? How do you treat the interest during the construction? Right? If there is a delay, the project will get extended by 2 years, 3 years, and then the project starts generating some revenue month after month. So how do we make a financial model that eventually leads to the decision of project finance? How much money this project requires, and if somebody gives you that money at the end of 5 years or at the end of the concession period, when you are making an exit, whether that investor will be able to get his desired IRR or not. So this is a project finance complicated model from the earlier one. This is the second financial model that you will learn. After that, we'll learn the third financial model, which leads to the mergers and acquisition of the company. So we'll now be looking at a financial model that helps you take a decision whether acquiring this company is making sense or not, whether this particular target makes sense for the shareholders of the acquirer or not. Shareholders of the acquirer generally take that decision of mergers and acquisition on the basis of whether the deal is EPS accretive or not. So here we again look at a real life case. We look at the acquisition of Microsoft's acquisition of LinkedIn. So we again start from scratch. We look at the information in the public domain. We try to make a model. We try to show what might have been an attraction for the shareholders of Microsoft to acquire LinkedIn, whether the deal is EPS accretive or not. So we combine the financials. So that's the third model. The third model is a model towards merger and acquisition. Correct. So these are the three financial models that you get exposed to. In the process, you end up learning a lot about corporate valuation, project finance, and mergers and acquisition. We then get into a real life case. I mean, all of these are real life case. Of course, they have been abridged, they have been morphed so that they can be put in the classroom. But this one is no hand holding now. All your learnings have happened. So we generally pick up any case. We mostly pick up either Accenture or Amazon. Most of the time we are doing Accenture. And then we give you all the freedom completely. You have to pull out all the information. You have to look at all the annual reports. You have to make your own template and you have to proceed with the model. The instructor will be just trying to help you at different stages if at all you are getting stuck. So at the end of these two sessions, you should be in a position to complete a model yourself for any company. So this is the objective of the first module spread across 10 sessions. You get to know basic Excel. You get to know three core concepts of finance: valuation, mergers and acquisition, project finance. Apart from these three models, you build another model completely from scratch so that by the end of module one, you are fully trained for making a model all on your own. After that, we get into the second module of the course. Second module of the course is advanced financial modeling. Here we get into tough and advanced concepts of Excel as well as financial modeling. So we look at macros, we look at coding in Excel. So we'll be making some code, we'll be doing some simulation where we'll be automating lots of stuff so that it improves upon your ability to handle large data. Remember, in the current profile, in the current day-to-day development that's happening, I mean, most of the businesses are thriving on e-commerce. E-commerce per se will thrive on lots of data that you are capturing about your customer, about their behavior. With the passage of time, lots of this data will eventually give rise to lots of job profiles in data analytics, machine language, artificial intelligence. So if you intend to work in the field of data, data analytics, if you want to become a data scientist at some point or the other, remember you need to develop an ability to handle large scale data. If you are building your ability to handle large scale data, I mean, of course, it cannot be just by improving your speed, improving your understanding. You need to know some automation technique. Otherwise, however fast you are, you will not be able to crunch the volume of data crunching that's required in such kind of job profile. So how to write an automation code, how to write some of the macros. You don't have to necessarily write a code from scratch all the time because most of these codes are available in public domain. If you just do a Google search, you will end up getting the code. But even if you're copying and pasting the code, right, the code would have been written by someone else for a particular context. You still need to customize that code to work for your model. Your model might have assumption on some other sheet, on some other cell. A code would have been written with reference to a particular row number, particular cell number, particular sheet number. So you should at least know how to customize those codes. So we have two sessions dedicated on macros. Of course, these two sessions will not be good enough to make you an expert into coding. But these two say, because coding per se cannot be learned by sitting in a classroom. Eventually, you have to start writing the code, make errors, compile the program, again realize this is the error, rectify them and move ahead. But at least that will prepare you to make your way forward when the code is given to you in some broken form. When a particular code is copied and pasted, you should know how to move ahead with this. That should at least help you understand that if some code has come to you, how should you quickly customize it so that it becomes useful for you. So 2 days are, 2 sessions are dedicated towards macros. That means 10 hours are dedicated towards macros. Apart from that, we are looking at lots of advanced function in Excel, such as array functions, offset function, scenario analysis, sensitivity analysis, and making dashboards. So while we are making dashboards, we'll be looking at multiple charts, which are not directly available in Excel. So there are many more charts like radar chart, football field charts, waterfall chart, Gantt chart, which are not readily available in Excel. Nowadays, Excel has waterfall charts, But earlier in the previous version of Excel, I mean, 2 versions before, waterfall charts were not directly available in Excel. So there are many more charts that you will see in the presentation by many consultants, in the presentation by many people like McKinsey, BCG. They are using many more small, good, beautiful charts. You should know how to create them, making use of Excel. For that particular thing, you will have to leverage the existing features of Excel, because Excel don't have them built inside them in the default form. But you will have to leverage, you will have to do something with the existing charts to end up getting those special charts. So these second module is spent across 4 sessions, means 20 hours, where you get into advanced modeling, advanced Excel, right? It takes you to a totally different skill set. If you are able to survive through module 2, apart from the job profiles that we have discussed in the beginning, you are also ready mentally to handle large data. So you are also laying a platform for yourself so that you end up, so that in future, if you end up getting the role in data analytics, in business analytics, or in data science, I mean, you are sitting at a platform. I'm not saying that this course is the only thing that's required for a data science job or a data analytics job, but this course will take you to a platform from where you can build upon and improve your skill sets for data analytics. These are the only things that are going to get covered in 14th session of financial modeling. Anything which are not written over here or which I have not told you is not going to get covered, right? Either the sales team might have promised you something, they might have told you, or there's a brochure that is made available to you. You should be very clear. These are the topics which are going to get covered in this course. Anything which has not been mentioned over there will not get covered. So should be knowing exactly what you are going to get out of this program, irrespective of who has promised you what. An idea behind this seminar is also to make sure that nobody is trying to hard sell a product to you, promising you that we'll be doing this, we'll be doing this. No, this is what we are going to do. These are some of the outputs, earlier outputs of the financial model. You are going to make far more complicated models than what you see over here. But these are some of the screenshots. Why financial modeling? We have discussed this before. And as I have told you, financial modeling is a skill set, something that's going to stay with you, something which is going to add to your career. Even if you decide to become an entrepreneur, I mean, let keep aside the job profiles that we have talked. So all the job profiles of investment banking, equity research, mergers and acquisition, fundraising, capital markets, private equity, due diligence, transaction advisory, planning, strategy, finance. Let's keep aside those profiles. Even if you at some point in time decide to become an entrepreneur, right? If you are trying to get on board a particular investor, you are an entrepreneur, so you are passionate about your idea. To you, everything seems to be amazing. You believe that your idea has potential to bring the stars from the sky, right? So that's not difficult. The difficult part is that you are able to convince someone else with your own story and make him as convinced as you yourself are about that story. For that, you will have to clearly show a movie to someone that this is what my idea is. If I end up getting some money, this is what I will do. If you give me more money, this is where I will go. If some more capital comes, this is where I will go. Right? And eventually, after 5 years, if all these rounds happen, then from here, I will end up becoming a company like this. You have to clearly show this entire story to somebody on a PowerPoint presentation today so that he buys your story and so that he ends up becoming your partner or your investor, right? So even if you ever at some point in time is trying to become an entrepreneur, right? Everything that we are talking about in this course is going to be useful for you because you are the one who will be running the strategy of the company. You will be the one who will be running the finances of the company. You are the one who will be trying to convince someone else of your idea so that he ends up putting the money. You are managing the lenders, you are managing the investors, you are bidding for the, everything is controlled and eventually done by you. It will be done by people below you, but its ultimate decision lies with you. So for an entrepreneur, this course is definitely a boon. So there are multiple job profiles. Keeping aside those profiles, also in the entrepreneurial setup, also this course is going to be very, very helpful. Course aims to make you an expert right? Especially in these areas, when we're talking about an expert, I mean, it's not an expert in a sense that just by going through these 14 sessions, you become an M&A expert or you become an IPO expert. No, that's not going to happen. But then that's not going to happen even if you go and do your MBA from Ahmedabad or, as a matter of fact, any other college. Because every corporate situation, every business problem that we are encountering today will have some kind of differential settings with respect to all the problems that I have solved in the past. Even though I might have done lots of mergers and acquisitions, successful, unsuccessful deal, there is no guarantee that the next deal that I'll be working upon is going to be exactly similar to any of the previous transactions where I have been successful or not successful. I still come across a situation where my model is not able to give an answer. I still come across a situation which I'm not able to depict into my Excel file, right? So it would be wrong to say that you become an expert through and through, but it will definitely take you to a level where you are in a position to answer the questions that such kind of job profile require. It will definitely take you to a position where such kind of job profiles require in the first 2 3 years. It will definitely take you to a situation where you will start performing even if your organization does not invest in your training for next 3 years. It's definitely going to take you into a situation where you will be able to crack such interviews, where you are able to pull out your own answers and then convince others. Right? So this course will prepare you to come to a position where you know what kind of questions are asked, what it takes to be successful in those profile, and hence what knowledge you should have, how should you respond to the questions, right? How should such questions related to these topics should be addressed. And then once you start working, there are many more things that you will learn, and then you will eventually have a different trajectory. So as I have told you, in order to make a financial model, only two things are required. One, Excel as a platform, and finance as a skill. So if you are good at Excel, great. If you are good at finance, even far better. That will help you put together these things easily. So the extent of torture will be lower for you. But if you're weak in finance, if you're weak in Excel, right, we will try to take care of that in the course. But if you are not a good learner also, then this course will become a torture at some point in time. So all we need is a basic graduation degree, some understanding of financial statement, some knowledge with Excel, and then lots of, you know, fighting attitude that if something difficult comes, I will learn it overnight. So your ability to learn the things faster as the course progresses, because the course becomes very, very aggressive as we move down to the session number 4, 5. So learning curve will become a little steep. So if you are a fast learner, then there is no problem at all. So as far as quantitative skill set is required, some knowledge of mathematics, Excel. As far as finance is required, some understanding of financial statements. That's all you need to get into the course. Then after that, your fighting attitude and your ability to learn things faster. That's all is required here. These are the sample certificates that you can see. There are two types of certificates that are given. One is the certificate of participation. You just managed to sit through the course, right? You kept practicing, but you didn't appear for the exam conducted by BSc. So in that case, you will end up getting something called COP, Certificate of Participation. It will carry the joint logo of EduPristine as well as BSc. Those who participate in the course practice and then eventually end up taking the exam and clear it. Here, if you don't clear it, then also you end up getting the certificate of participation. So certificate of participation, either you don't take up the exam or you take up the exam, but you don't clear it. Certificate of excellence, if you take up the exam and clear it. So this is the sample certificate that's being shown here so that you know what certificate will come to you. So that's all about the course. That's all you should know. If there is any other confusion, doubt in your mind, please feel free to ask. Please start typing your question, raise your hand. Meanwhile, give me just 5 minutes. I'll take you through EduPristine because you should also know who are the people behind this and whether we are capable of delivering the kind of training that we are talking to you or not. Fees, one second, you will come to know this. Fees, I'm sure your salesperson would have already told you what's the fees and if they are running any discount scheme on that or not. So EduPristine was started way back in 2008. It was started by four partners then. I mean, all of us were batchmates. So I passed out in 2005. These guys also passed out in 2005, 2006. So we all started working in different. I started working with Kotak Investment Bank. These guys were working somewhere else. And then, so we realized that, I mean, what we're taught to us in different IIMs versus what is required in the industry, there's a huge gap. But at that point in time, we all went through that entire pain. There were no YouTube videos. There were no sessions or classroom training program like this. We all learned this entire thing through by going through the grill. So the idea was brewing that we wanted to do something to bridge that gap. So we worked 2005, 2006, 7 in 2008 when Lehman Brothers collapsed. Some of our batchmates who were settled abroad, they came back to India after losing their job or after deciding to quit their job. They came here and then four of them started to take the full-time plunge. And that's how EduPristine was born. There were many like me who supported EduPristine from outside in terms of content, in terms of design, in terms of conceptualizing a course. So way back in 2008, when we started with four courses, which was training in CFA, FRM, financial modeling, and there was one more course. There were four courses we started, and over the period of time, we never turned back. Soon we turned out to be the leading training provider for CFA. Somewhere around 2 years back, I think the existing founding members, they eventually made an exit, and this company was sold out to Atalem Global Education. Atalem Global Education is a New York listed company. It currently has a market cap of close to $3 billion. It's a huge company. It's a huge strategic partner. So the existing, so the founding members, they walked out, and now this company is within the control of Atalem. Over a period of 12 years, I think the company has ended up training around 50,000 people in different courses. At some point in time, we were running close to 14 different training programs, not only in the field of account, not only in the field of finance, but also in the field of accounts, also in the field of digital marketing, business analytics. So there was a portfolio of 14 courses. Over a period of time, some courses have moved out, and especially in this lockdown period, some courses were shut down because the exams were not happening for CFA, exams were not happening for CMA. But now all these things will be revived. So there is a faculty pool of 600 people. Almost all of them will be having a caliber very similar to me. We generally take or invite people who are currently working in the field to take the session so that he's able to communicate the best practices. So you also get a flavor of the faculty. There is 100% job placement assistance that is given to you. So remember, it's a job assistant, job placement assistant. There is no guarantee that we will be placing you at the end of the course. Whether you end up converting the leads is totally a function of your ability. It's totally a function of how good or bad you are able to do in the interview. So we will give you the leads, we'll be sending you towards the interviews, we'll be preparing you for those interviews. But eventually you end up getting that job or not is totally dependent upon you, your ability to convert that. So we can hold your hand, we can train you, we can give you all kind of assistance that's required. But eventually, right, the job you get or not is dependent upon your ability to crack those interviews. That's the reason why we give you that, we tell you that we give you 100% job placement assistance. Whatever you want will be given to you, but eventually it's you who has to crack those interviews. So as a part of the course, somewhere we also give you a soft skill training. Soft skill training helps you bridge the gap of the soft skills that's required in such kind of job profile, especially in the communication, especially the way you speak, the way you articulate your thoughts. Remember, what differentiates a good analyst from the rest of the crowd is his ability to learn new things quickly, synthesize in his mind, and eventually put it out or write it in 4 bullet points. So a good communication skill necessarily means that you are able to consume all the facts given to you, quickly process, right? Be clear with 4 or 5 key points and then communicate effectively. That these are the 4 takeaways. So you will also be brought to the mark as far as soft skills is concerned as a part of this course. Once you join hands with EduPristine, you continue to become its alumni all throughout your life. So throughout your life, you will have a login and a password. You will have access to our LMS. You will have access to all the updated contents in different courses. If you have doubts, queries, they can be addressed to. You can participate into lots of webinars that EduPristine keeps conducting over a period of time. So you become a lifelong alumni of EduPristine with a dedicated login and password, and you get access to all kind of supports, guidance, material, course material, right, and any other information that you are looking for. Faculty, as I have told you, I am a faculty for financial modeling. There are many other faculties like me for financial modeling. Similarly, we have many other courses. So an expert faculty, a person mostly with IITM background or mostly with a similar pedigree, and a person who has already worked in that field will be a faculty. A person who is having an excellent pedigree or having an excellent career does not guarantee that he will also turn out to be a good teacher. We recognize that fact. That's the reason why at the end of every session there is a opinion poll online. If you had been in a classroom, a form is circulated where you are free to write a feedback about the faculty. If you don't like the faculty or if the feedback is not up to the mark, you have all the right to get the faculty changed. So who will teach you is eventually driven by you. So throughout the session, there is an open feedback mechanism. You can talk about the faculty. You can talk about your satisfaction, dissatisfaction. You can talk about what you liked, what you didn't like. And if there is a need to change a faculty, the faculty is also changed in between. So this is it in terms of the placement assistant. I have already told up. There is 100% placement assistant. It starts right from resume building. It's helps you through interview preparation, gives you the lead, but eventually it's you who has to convert this. These are some of the corporate clients where we have run similar program or abridged version of the program that we are talking about, and they continue to be our client even today. So the likes of Bank of America, I have conducted similar program for Banks of America, I think over 3-4 years in a row. Ernst and Young, KPMG, Major Bank, Franklin Templeton, these were the people we have trained their first year analyst through this course. These are some of the educational institutions where we have delivered this program. So I'm Calcutta. I have been personally there. I have conducted this financial modeling session and I'm Calcutta myself. IIT Delhi, I'm Indore. These are the places where I have gone and delivered the course. These are the other institutes where these courses are delivered on and off basis, depending upon. So they continue to remain our partner. The pedagogy of the course is, again, you will get exposed to cases in Excel financial modeling, which will derive their basis from real life cases. So if I have worked on some financial modeling transaction that has led to the private equity infusion, then the ultimate objective was to derive the valuation. So that is the case that I would have picked up. I would have morphed the numbers. I would have removed some of the skews. I made the case, slightly scaled it down so that it can be pushed into the classroom. So all the cases that you are going to get exposed to in this course are real life cases, again, abridged version, shortened version, slightly scaled down version so that they can be pushed in the classroom. Faculty, so the pedagogy is case based, pedagogy is through interaction, pedagogy is through doing it in the classroom. You get all kind of supports, you get all kind of study material, you can download the content beforehand. Training lasts over 14 sessions. We conduct all the sessions over Saturdays and Sundays so that it doesn't interfere with your day-to-day working. Each session runs over 5 hours. So there is a training program of 70 hours. What are we going to do is known to you. Session by session is known to you. So how do I get started is by spending some time with Excel and by learning a little bit about finance, if you intend to do that. We have all kinds of payment mechanism. What is the exact fees? The salesperson who is in touch with you will tell you, because I know the figure, but I don't know if they are running some discount scheme. If they are running some discount scheme, the figure will be a little lower. So they will tell you the exact fees. It should be somewhere from 25,000 to 30,000, I guess, depending upon whether they are running a discount or not. But the exact figure your salesperson will tell you. So now, please feel free to ask, because I have told you almost everything that I had to tell you about the course, about EduPristine, about what you are going to learn, what you are not going to learn. Our website is full of testimonials by lots of participants who have attended this course over a period of time. There have been people who have been very, very happy with the course. There are people who have returned back to us for some other courses in future. There are people who have done financial modeling at one point in time, and then they have come back again after 2-3 years to do the same course again. So we have all kinds of testimonials on the website. Some of them are mentioned over here. But if you pay a visit to our website, if you spend some time with our website, you will end up getting lots of other testimonials. So that's all I have about the course. Now it's your turn to ask anything that I have not covered, or if there is any confusion in your mind, please feel free to ask. So start throwing your questions, friends. Anything that you want to know about the course content, please feel free. Vineet, you have raised your hand. See if you can talk now. Yeah. Imran,
Yeah, am I audible?
yes, yes, Vineet, you are audible. Imran, I'll give you the next turn. Yeah, Vineet.
Sorry, I am not in touch with any of your sales guy, so I do not know what is the pricing of this
But
course.
how do you end up landing here? I mean,
I got the email.
but who somebody would have given you that email, right? Who has sent that
Uh,
email to you?
it is from the training proofs, the
Uh,
training props.
right, right. So, I mean, wherever the mail has come from, just write to it. Say that I will need to. If you can just put me to some salesperson.
Okay.
And I've already given you the range. I mean, it will be somewhere between 25 to 30. Now, depending upon if they are running some scheme over here, the price may be a little lower. So the exact price somebody will be able to tell you from there only. So just reply to
Okay.
that mail saying that you want somebody from the sales to give you a call, and then somebody will do the needful. I'll also
Okay.
pass on this message if you need.
Sure. So is it going to be the live sessions or is it recorded sessions?
Live session.
It's a,
Through,
just like the way we are communicating. It will
right,
be
yes,
like that.
yes, yes, yes. It's not a
And this, okay. And this will be on Sunday and Saturday and Sunday only.
Saturday and Sunday, right?
What is the timing?
3 to 8.
3 to 8 in the evening.
Yeah. It starts at three
Okay.
o'clock in the afternoon and continues till 8 o'clock.
Okay, got it. And if somehow if I miss any session, the recordings will be available for that?
Recordings will be available. Yeah. Recordings will be available. You can attend the same session with some other batch in future again free of cost.
Oh, okay, okay. And how many participants will be in one session?
Mostly 20.
Okay. And when is the course starting?
We have, I think there is one batch with starting as early as tomorrow itself. And
Okay.
I think every alternate weekend a batch is starting. So another batch will start in 15 days time from now, I guess.
Okay. And will you share the syllabus in email? Because I do not have this.
Syllabus as in the presentation that I have shown to you right now, that contains the
Yeah,
device
yeah,
coupling.
yeah. I
So,
just need the syllabus. Is it
so that's the
fine to?
syllabus. So if you want,
Can I have it and see post the conversation so that I can digest it?
uh, there is a, I mean, whosoever would have given you a mail, that's the reason why if you can just talk to the salesperson, otherwise you can take a
Okay.
screenshot right now, if at
Okay.
all, because I will not be able to share this presentation and there are lots of marketing material. So if you want, you can take a
Yeah,
screenshot.
I don't need presentation. I just need the two
Right.
slide, the syllabus slide.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
right. So you can take a screenshot of this slide. It's there.
Okay, 1 second. I'll just do it.
Right.
I'm on mobile, so there is a less visibility.
Imran, there is a question here from you. 1 second. And I think
Can
we
you
have
please
also
move to the
been,
next slide if you don't mind?
yeah. Imran, I have unmuted you. See if you can speak. This is the next slide.
Yeah.
Imran, are you able to unmute yourself and speak?
Next slide, please. Sorry.
No, please. Yeah, this is the last one.
Okay, I'm done.
Perfect. Imran, if you can speak up now, otherwise let me see what your questions are. Vineet, Neeraj, can you please repeat how many hours of effort is required every day to complete this course? Will the class happen every day? What is the timing? Is it live or recorded? Classes happen on weekends. I think I answered that question. Saturday, Sunday, 5 hours live. Imran, does cash flow is important? Means, is cash flow important if that's what you are asking? Cash flow and fund flow will be covered financial modeling. Yes. Cash flow will be covered in the financial modeling. So we'll be covering projections regarding all the three financial statements, which is projected P&L, projected balance sheet, and a cash flow statement. Fund flow statement is an outdated concept, so it's not required because the purpose that's served by cash flow statement is far more than the fund flow statement. But otherwise, we'll be covering the cash flow statement and all other financial statements. Anything else, please feel free to ask. Please feel free. This is the last chance for you to know in and out about the course. Don't be under any kind of confusion. Be clear whether you want to do or not. And at the same time, you don't want the salespeople to be selling something or the other to you. So here it's time for you to become very clear and transparent. So feel free.
I have one more question. Can I?
Please, yes, please.
This doubt clearance will happen during the class on Saturday and Sunday, or even during the week if
No,
I have any
doubt clearing.
doubts.
I mean, see, there are two ways in which doubt clearing happens. One is that you ask it straight away in the class itself. So
Yeah.
exactly the way it's happening right now. Either you raise your hand, then the instructor will give you the chance to speak, or you can write your question in the Q&A box or in the chat box. And you should ask as many questions as possible during the session itself. After the session, you may be practicing the same thing during the week. So when the next session happens on the next weekend, the first 10-15 minutes of the session is dedicated towards answering the questions raised by any of the participants about the previous session. So if you have got something during the week to ask, in the next session, you get an opportunity to ask that.
Okay. Thank you.
So Bathuka, Girish, I can see you. So if there is anything, feel free to ask. So Bathuka has also left. Vineet, you have asked most of the thing. Girish, if you have anything to ask, please feel free. Otherwise, all right, Girish, fine. So then I'll end the session, right? And please feel free to get in touch with your sales rep. All right.